Yeah, dude, give it up for Sunday Boxing, everybody.
All right.
That was really good stuff. We've got Sunday
Thank you.
Boxing here in the Roo studio right
Yes.
now. We're talking to Pete and Richard. What's
Hello,
going on, guys?
Thank you guys. Cody, appreciate you having us.
Pleasure to meet
Michael,
you, fellas.
thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, dude.
Sure.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out and for having us in here.
Always, man. So, who is Sunday Boxing? No, but like seriously, I want to know kind of like how you guys were formed, how you guys came to be, and like first and foremost, what do you do in the band? Tell our audience what you do in the band. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Pete Schock. I play bass and sing about a little more than half the time.
More than half the time. The other half, he's doing something else.
Sing about
Hey,
51% of the time I
51%.
sing.
Yeah, he's got
Richard
That's a good
sings
percent.
49%.
majority shares, so whatever he says goes.
It's about the royalties.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm Richard Jacob, and I play guitar, and sometimes I try to sing, and
You sing awesome, Richard. Don't sell yourself short.
Oh, dude, come on.
I just
man.
wanted to hear that. Yeah, and I sing awesome, right? And
Give it up for Richard.
they when I joined the band, they were a two-piece, and the third leg of our stool is is Paul Rhodes.
Paul Rhodes, who you
who's a-
guys have met before.
Yeah.
So I moved to North Carolina about 12 years ago
Right on.
with my family, and I was looking for people to play noisy rock, and I was hoping to find some, and there was one of the sites. What's that one site?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
bandmix.com, where no one really pays for it. I almost feel bad because I found a good chunk of my friends
That's great.
on that website. But Paul had a posting on there talking about, he mentioned Pavement or some stuff like that. I said, okay, that's close enough. And he didn't answer me. But then he and I each separately answered a third gentleman who played guitar, and he was fine. But, Paul and I kind of just hit it off right away. And he's like, Fugazi, huh? I'm like, yeah. And we're like, all right, we're gonna keep jamming. So we did. We jammed a couple of times. We kind of said we would go on. It wasn't gonna happen fast.
Yeah.
I said we like each other enough that we're just gonna keep rolling, and if we take little breaks and stuff, it's gonna be fine. So we kind of agreed pretty early to have a casual band. It's actually gotten more ramped up recently. We spun our wheels a long time, and so it was just Paul and I. We did have some guitarists, but they would come and go, and then Paul and I were trying to do the two-piece. We did play a gig as a two-piece.
Uh-huh.
I played guitar with loopers, and it wasn't good enough. That's a lot to bring on. I
Sure.
like having the three-piece, but it's got to be the right person. Paul met Richard. Maybe he'll tell you that part. But I see that there's a band now, Royal Blood, that's just the fuzzy bass and drums, and I'm like, we were kind of doing
those
that.
guys are.
But they're actually getting something done, so I respected them. That was way too much energy
Yeah, those
for me to
guys
put
are
out by
making
myself.
every two-piece on the planet just vomit
Yeah.
at how good they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fine, they can be the two-piece fuzz bass band. I will do.
When was
the
this?
three-piece.
Was this shortly after you moved? Like, have you guys been together for this whole
So
time?
I'm noticing that I'm pretty sure this is Paul and I's 10th year.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
2012 was when he and I got
It's
together.
a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I got to get him. What's that? A silver anniversary? I'll get him.
Oh yeah.
Got to get him something
A
sweet
little
this
silver
year.
plaque.
We like to surprise each other.
Silver platter.
Sure, man. Sounds like you guys have got some good camaraderie. Richard, where did you come in to play? How did you join this awesome now three-piece?
Well, I had a friend named Melvin, and I knew from making biodiesel actually, and
Wow.
I
Not the band biodiesel.
Oh, okay.
not the band biodiesel. No, literally biodiesel. Yeah, that. Vegetable oil turned to diesel fuel.
Were
Anyway,
you going around to
Jobs.
restaurants like getting them to give you their leftover grease?
yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes we didn't. Sometimes they didn't know it, but yeah. we did that religiously, like every Sunday morning for a while.
Did you
And-
have some sort of tool to hook up to those little grease traps outside to suck that out? Like how? Were
Yeah,
you
we had a
getting
pump. You just have a water pump. and we put it into all these containers.
That's awesome.
And
How were you selling it? Were you just using it?
no,
for...
we didn't. No, we used it for ourselves. We both had a diesel car, and so we made enough to consume ourselves.
Whoa.
And,
There's a song there somewhere.
There really is.
It was a really neat thing, and we had a huge apparatus built made out of a water heater and a bunch of not drying tanks, but you'd have washing tanks, and you put it through this process, put it through a lot of filters. And the first time we actually put it in our vehicles, we were a little scared. We actually even had a real gas pump that we had at the end of the thing. We pump it in there, and we put it in there, and it worked. So we kept up with it for some time. But
How does that correlate with
well,
the
okay,
band?
so he was in a band, Labia Minor, which is also a two-piece, guitar and drums.
You
Okay.
guys aren't
And-
minimalist, are you?
No, well, that's them, and they
Sunday boxing is not minimalist. You ever seen my pedal board? I'm a bass player, and
and he's
and I have 5 distortion pedals.
Yeah.
That's
And
just the beginning.
but he was working with this other band called Kill Your Mules.
Okay.
And they needed a keyboard player, and I said, "Hey, I'll play keyboards. I just wanted to get back into music because I played when I was younger, guitar and some keyboard and stuff, but I hadn't done anything a long time, and I was dying to play. And he introduced me to the Charlotte music scene,
Yeah.
and so I started playing with them, and then that led to being in this other band called Farewell Albatross, and which Paul was a drummer originally, and then Paul said, "Hey, you want to come play with Pete?" And so I joined them. So it's just the whole progression going from this band to that band and that band.
That's awesome.
And
It did. It helped. Like I said, Paul and I had kind of hit a bit of a wall for a minute, and Richard was like, the baby that saves your marriage.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Is
but
that how it works?
they really had the music that I wanted to play, so it worked out well for me.
That's awesome.
If
didn't
only
know
babies were born to parents who made music
I didn't know I was a
on
baby.
purpose.
Have you had a lot of luck gigging in Charlotte, or do you try to stay in Charlotte, or do you branch out at all? Do you get down to Greenville, Spartanburg area, Asheville? Have y'all had any kind of luck doing that?
We haven't ventured far from Charlotte just because of real life.
Yeah. Well, you
Um,
said you have a family, so I know
Yeah.
good as anyone.
Jobs, all that. So,
how-
mostly, I mean, I wanted to, when I moved here, I was probably here for 2 years, again, with my then younger children. They're now, teenagers. My son just got accepted to Western Carolina University.
Congratulations.
Hey, yeah, round of applause.
out.
Yeah, so that's good.
WCU.
So, started then and didn't really know where to go because I didn't have, friends yet to say, where do I go? And I ended up at Cabo Fish Taco, and I saw lots of girls with tattoos. And I was like, where's the punk rock? And the girl says, the Milestone. And I was like, awesome. And then I went to the Milestone, and I said, there is the punk rock.
Yeah.
And that, immediately became my place. I'm from New Jersey, and there was a place called the Brighton Bar that I
sorry.
loved, and we played it all the time. It closed down. Oh, yeah.
You were just in New Jersey.
I
He
was
lost
just
a
in
bet
New
or
Jersey.
something.
I know the Brighton closed, so there's no point in being there.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome. You guys have a really awesome sound, but I see here that if I had to genre you guys, I would say punk, just like you were saying. But it says here that you guys refer to yourself as more like a grungecore.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we persist with that. It's like when Paul and I started the band, I guess MySpace was still a thing, and
Love
they were like,
MySpace.
what type of band are you? And we're looking through it, and we're like, well, like punk means this, like we're punk, and because we do what we want, but like it's everyone
Well, yeah,
thinks
10
Green
years
Day
ago,
automatically.
punk didn't sound like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10
So-
years ago, punk was Sum 41 and,
Right.
like Yellow Card, that kind of punk.
Exactly, and there's
Yeah.
no thing, and there wasn't a link that said punk, but not that kind of punk, like this different type of punk. So it was among those, and while we're looking, the word grungecore was there. So literally, it's just from MySpace, and we're like, what the?
I would say
What the hell is
alternative.
grunge
I mean, you
door?
guys
Yeah.
give me
Yeah.
like a mid to late 90s kind of alternative vibe when I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I've been told we wear our influences heavily, so I guess grungecore, like even though that was a funny word, it's like we come from grunge. I mean, we loved that time of music. I was into metal when I was a little like young kid, and then when that was kind of getting a little corny, then all of a sudden there was these bands that were as heavy, but they were singing. It was just more raw. We all liked what that term grunge. It's the chewy center between metal and punk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Did you get into like the right before grunge kind of blasted on the scene? There was like this weird like Pantera was coming on, right? So like they were changing the way metal sounded, and then
How it looked, yeah.
and then like Chris Cornell and Soundgarden were doing their thing, and before Pearl Jam there was a band called Mother Love Bone.
Yeah.
And I felt like Mother Love Bone was the bridge between 80s metal and grunge. Like if it wasn't for a band like that, I don't think grunge would have happened.
Yeah, them and Jane's Addiction, I would say, were on the same plane. You know,
Yeah.
The thing with metal, again, as a kid, it's like it was other. You knew the metal kids when they came in the room, and they, you know, little corny, but still kind of badass, and the whole thing. And excuse me, but grunge was like, I don't know, just wearing the flying the metal flag, but still trying to not be quite so teased up in the hair. And Jane's Addiction and Mother Love Bone were still, you know, doing crazy hair, and they looked other. To look other is to be as punk as one can be, but like those looks kind of still persist. It's adorable.
My question is who does most of the writing? Because that song we just heard, one of the lyrics is "Your solution is pollution to me," and I just love that lyric because I feel like it resonates really great in this day and time. Who does the lyrics and like who came up with that specific lyric is what I want to know.
I wrote that song.
That's a great song.
Yeah, I would say when we do our homework, we're coming in with enough of a song. We're like, if Richard is coming in with a song, it's because he has something of like, well, here's a guitar riff that I like and something that I've been singing over it. And if he's even gotten that far, like a verse, I'm happy to say, please, walk away with it. And similarly, I'll show up. But then a lot of what we do then is then the jams that come after that. We then let it fly and just kind of be that. And then we go back and listen, and then we just take the snippets and say, "Oh wow!"
You take the nuggets.
Yeah, take the nuggets and say, "Well, like, we can ride that. I can repeat that." Because some of the stuff you listen to in a jam, you're like, "What the hell was I doing? I'm amazing. I'll never do this again."
That's so true.
But when you can find something and you can sing it, if I can sing that riff, then I will write that riff, and then, or Richard will, when he's like, "Oh, I heard this piece that I can." Kind of going. We were listening to some chunks on the way here where it was like, oh man, this has to be a song. And he's like, this is in a different tuning. I don't remember the tuning it was in.
What was the tuning?
That is the one thing that is amazing with playing with these guys is that we can just go in, we set up, and we can just start jamming on something, and we've created some songs out of it, but we can create something that actually sounds listenable. Afterwards, where we're just completely ad-libbing it, and and in a sense, it's just kind of jamming in one key or whatever. But then there's some time changes, and then he'll start doing something different. So I match with him, and he matches with me, and so that's what's really kind of magical to me is that.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever do that in the middle of a set? Like, do you ever go play a show and ad-lib, or do you?
No, but I really want to.
And I agree. When we were coming here, we were listening to one piece. I'm like, man, why don't we just let fly like this on stage? Like whole thing.
I think we need to do it one time. Just go to the milestone and just don't play any songs.
Songs.
Just go through and
impromptu
and just improv the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself like circling back to a specific riff or tune when you get to jamming, or are you always able to kind of keep something fresh going? Do you get into a jam and in like 10, 15 minutes into it, you always end up back at this one place? Or do you just kind of go all over the place with it?
That's funny. I guess I would say that when you're trying to jam with other people, you have to play the same thing for a long time first.
Yeah.
Just get a riff where you're like, oh, this is a groovy riff. And you got to get it until you and the drummer, whether it's a plain guitar riff or, as the bass player, often me doing that part with Paul, locking in to where it can go a different place. And then what eventually happens is someone gets tired, or Paul will do something rapturous that will just kind of change the tempo enough that we let go, and then just kind of like, and now I'm gonna hit this note, and hopefully it's the right one.
Yeah.
And then just kind of.
But yeah, even that one we're listening
over
to on the way here, that where it has this particular kind of a theme, and then it breaks down. He changes the whole timing, and then at the end it comes back to that theme. So it gives you that same sense of
full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
Dude,
which is I think they've been using that in classical music for generations.
Probably.
Well, I only asked the question because I'm not that talented. So anytime I get to jam with someone, I always end up back to like the ones,
The classic
the
riffs.
couple of songs that I know well.
Yeah. The classics.
Yeah,
Classics?
I actually don't know other people's songs. Like, I don't. Like, when I was learning, Metallica, I would say, was like the Black Sabbath, into Metallica, into Anthrax, and that was everything in the beginning. And then when the whole grunge thing happened, it was Smashing Pumpkins was my
That's your
main
favorite
gang.
grunge
I
band?
loved it. Yeah, at that time, I'm surprised I don't like them much now because they were everything to me.
You must have seen them live.
I have seen them a couple
that'll
of times.
seeing the Smashing Pumpkins live will absolutely turn you off of their music.
Aw, I didn't know.
I don't know.
true.
I thought they were pretty mind-bending live.
I'm glad I haven't bought tickets.
My wife and I went to see the Smashing Pumpkins and Marilyn Manson, right? And Manson opened for the Pumpkins.
Wow.
So we're like, this is great. This is going to be a great show. So we go, and Manson opens, and he just killed it. And I've
Did he?
heard stories, because I've seen him suck. I have. I've seen him before. Before that show, I've seen him.
Carolina Rebellion.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
It was a terrible set. It was like, man, this sucks. Right? And he was headlining that
It's
night,
like he's
too.
bloody, but why?
But
We're not really feeling you,
And
man.
then, like 6 months later, we go to see him open for the Pumpkins, and he was just killing it.
Yeah.
Man, it was like, wow, this is not the guy we saw 6 months ago. And then the Pumpkins, so we're all pumped, right? We're because we didn't expect to see a good show from Manson. So we're all pumped for the Pumpkins. Pumpkins come out, and they start the show with like, I think they started with Rocket, and then they played Zero, and I want to say one other song from Siamese Dream. I can't remember what it was, but after those first three songs, it was like an hour of like brand new music that no one had ever heard.
No new crap. Taking
wasn't-
care of business
It
now.
wasn't. I was like, I don't mind new shit, but you gotta pepper it in.
Pepper it in,
You
yeah.
can't play the new album when
Yeah.
it just came out.
Yeah.
So like we're like an hour into the show, and my wife and I are looking at each other like,
Boo.
fuck it, let's go.
Let's throw stuff at them.
so we left, and on our way out, they start playing some old stuff again. But in the middle of all that, the crowd starts to die down. The crowd's all excited. They're playing these old songs, and then they get into this stretch of new stuff that nobody knows, and like Billy's not getting the response that he was expecting. And so after a song finishes, he gets on mic, he goes, "Gee, thanks." And it's like, we're the assholes? Like, we're the ones that are wrong here?
He's such a whiny baby.
So after that, it's like I still love the Smashing Pumpkins music, but that was just a real bad taste in my mouth experience with
Yeah,
the Pumpkins.
it can happen. That's like that line from Batman. Die a hero, Cobain, or live long enough to become a villain. With Billy Corgan. Keep living. You have longer for people to hate you.
That's very true. Very true. I'm sure that's going to happen to us at some point.
Yeah, indeed. I'll tell you one very disappointing in the same way. I love the Bad Brains.
Yeah.
And in sometime, let's say 20 years back, they were coming to, again, I lived in New Jersey at the time, and they were coming to the great club, the Birch Hill, but they were called the Soul Brains. But it was HR, and it was Daryl, and it was Earl, and it was all of them. I'm like, well, yeah, we're going. It must be some contract or whatever, but Soul Brains, it's them. And they did reggae. And, I love reggae. We all love reggae. But holy crap, man. If
not
we're
what
not
you were
drinking
there for.
margaritas and stuff.
But that's-
No, man. Like, I had, like, the Bad Brains, everything I had heard was just they were the most exciting live band ever. And they didn't move. And, I've recently only got I only feel slightly better about it. Well, I guess not better, feel worse. Because HR was so mentally ill at that time that, like, they had trouble even getting him to, like, the stage. And they were like, no, he's like, I don't want to be Bad Brains. I want to be something positive, like Soul Brains. And they were like,
Oh.
okay.
He's on that trip.
Okay. Soul Brains.
Happens
Two
to the
parts
best
of your
them.
body.
He found
But
Jesus.
anyway, that doesn't change the fact that they are the
He
best.
still wrote great music.
So much.
And that's just
So
it.
much.
Even when you go see a band that you love and the performance isn't great,
Yeah,
it does leave that bad taste in your mouth, but it doesn't change that they wrote this amazing music that
Totally.
you still love.
but yeah, no one booed, but no one was happy. There was a lot of yay, more reggae.
Where's the margarita at?
Yeah, here's the margarita.
You
That
had a
would
bad
definitely
experience at a concert, Cody?
Dude, I actually went to see Metallica in Charlote, and they were bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? I
yeah.
didn't think
James
that was
wasn't having
possible.
it that day, or something. But maybe he didn't do his vocal warm ups. But they were all over the place, and it was just not good. But typically, I hear Metallica's a great band to see. I love Metallica.
They blew my mind too.
Yeah, I've seen
when I
them
saw
a handful of times, and I haven't seen a bad show yet from them. But it can
I
happen.
did. It was Charlotte. It was at one of the like the arenas, and they had like chairs, and like most people were like sitting down, and like not up, and like.
That's the one thing about arena shows that I don't like. Like, arena shows are great because there's so many people. There's
Yeah.
a lot of energy in the crowd. And I've been to a bunch of them. And the whole sit-down, stand-up thing. Like,
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
felt
you're
like I
not
was in
able to-
church. I was
Yeah.
like, sit
Unless
down,
you're on
stand
the
up, take
floor.
a fucking piece of the bread or whatever, drink the grape juice.
Yeah, unless you're on the floor, you can't like really move like you want to move.
Yeah.
So that's the only. But at the same time, it's really hard to create that arena energy in an amphitheater.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
different. It's very, very different.
Yeah,
They're both
yeah.
great on their own accord, and certain bands do better at arenas, some do better at amphitheaters.
Yeah.
But
I imagine they're a festival kind of a band,
Yeah.
man. Like I'm a festival guy. I love a good festival setting for a venue, but then I also love those tiny sweatbox shows.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's so much more
But
fun.
I don't like the
know.
arena.
Is that your speed?
I don't like the
Yeah.
arena. I like the sweat box and I like the outside. There's no
Yeah.
in between for me.
I'm happy to go to the arena, but yeah, to be like cramped in and like a
Yeah, those are the
maybe
most
not
fun.
today, maybe not right now
Yeah.
Yeah.
with COVID,
Yeah.
but in the normal times, yeah, I love all that. I love having an excuse to scream loud.
Well, it brings up a good question. Talking about bad performances. Like, have you ever had an experience where you're trying to put out this energy and just not going right?
And the
Like,
crowd's just like,
Well, we had a really bad show at Snug Harbor one time.
Oh,
Actually,
my
I think that might
God.
be the only time we ever.
We
played
had
there,
a
but
we had a very it was the only time we played there.
we had
Technical. Paul
is this
had.
why you haven't been back?
It's
yeah,
very
I think that was
possible.
the only time we've ever. No, we played.
It was so. I don't know that we played there a second time.
Yeah, we've
Paul's
been there
drums fell
to watch other
apart.
people.
More than once, 2 different drums. So
Like
we had
while
a
he's
kick drum.
playing?
Yep.
oh no.
And he's listening to this, but his drum set is kind of on that tier of that, like, it could crumble at any time, but he's like, but he loves it, and he's like, there's just one small repair, but he can't find the piece to make that repair. He's like, I need to get a new kit, but I love this kit. But regardless, the drum set was falling apart frequently as we gigged, and he had workarounds, but not this day.
Very punk of you guys
Yeah.
to roll with it like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you just power through?
Yeah, very punk.
No,
of you.
Yeah.
I think we literally stopped
I
the song.
had-
We
I
had
think-
to. I mean, and then it was like the kick drum fell, and then not the kick drum fell, but the kick pedal came apart.
Came apart, yeah.
And then I think a hi-hat came apart,
Whoa.
and then I think it was you?
I think my cord was.
I think
was-
all my
was
stuff
just
was
bad.
working fine.
Yeah.
I was ready.
Yeah. It was bad. It'd be like
Oh,
we're,
yeah,
we're
your
playing,
cord,
and I
and
don't
it
know
was just-
where the gap is, and but sometimes it can lend to a nice event. At the Milestone, we had a problem one time. I had one pedal that was losing the signal, so I just quickly unplugged it and I took it and I threw it down, and the audience was like, "Oh, yeah, that's awesome! Yeah, you destroyed shit," But
Meanwhile,
But-
you're there like,
but
damn
it's-
it.
but it is no fun to be up there when you don't know how to fix it quickly
No.
and
Well, let's be positive. Let's talk about some of the best.
Yeah, thanks for
Best
bringing up
shows.
our
I was
bad.
I was
Yeah,
about to.
well, it's all
segue.
uphill from there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we kicked ass last week, I think, at the Milestone, and at Tommy's too. We had a great show. We're getting better. I had someone who has seen us for a long time say, "I've seen you guys earlier, and it was okay. You guys seemed a little lost. I wonder if it was the Snug Harbor show." And they're like, "But now you guys have like a steely look that I can tell that you're gonna kick ass." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Thank you."
Do you think that's a confidence thing?
But yeah, nothing is more confidence building than preparation, and we got that mess up, and I don't mess up like that twice. So I think we all were just like, here's all the ways that we fix this, to not let that happen.
Fresh
again.
9-volt batteries.
Yeah.
Good chords.
Yep.
Make sure your strings aren't rusty.
The 5 Ps basically.
Yeah.
Proper
Proper
planning
planning
prevents
prevents
poor performance.
Piss
Yeah.
poor performance.
That's 6 Cs. I
Oh,
left
I
the
did
piss out.
Oh.
I was being PG
Oh.
after dropping.
I just learned that at work the other day, so I was
It's
I was
okay,
amazed that you
folks.
just
Piss.
all the P's.
It's punk rock to not say piss. You know what I mean?
Well, I will say this. when you've been to as many shows as like me and Kody have, and I'm sure you guys have been to a lot of shows. When you take the stage and you've got that confidence or swagger, even I think swagger is a better word for it, especially when it pertains to music.
It's also a good body wash.
Right. When you've got that swagger, it really does put out a different kind of energy and for me, you know, I know I pick up on it quick and it makes me more into what the band's doing, even if it's not my typical cup of tea. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Coheed and Cambria. Was not a fan of them.
Yep.
Didn't know them from Adam's ass.
Yep.
Went to a festival with my wife, and they were playing this stage while we were waiting for the Deftones to play on the next stage. So while we're waiting for Deftones, let's go check out Coheed and Cambria. These guys came out, and it was like they just knew that what they were doing was awesome, and you were gonna love it. And that energy they put out, it drew us in, and it was like, but you know, halfway through their set, I'm looking at my phone, I was like, I had no idea these guys were this good.
Yeah.
And I think that you know your attitude when you take a stage, I think that you can set a tone for an audience, and it's all up to you to do that.
The secret is people just want to have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm there to force them to have the good time in the manner in which I deem okay.
So that
Which is by banging your head.
that makes me question, like, what's the crowd interaction like? Do you ever just like call some people out in the crowd and like make them interact and like get them going? Like, do you talk to the crowd? Do you ask them questions? What's the crowd?
I like a
interaction?
healthy distance between the stage and the crowd.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't think we've ever quite engaged like that. We'll see. Get out of your seats, although it's mostly standing rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tell our crowd about some upcoming shows that you guys have. Coming
Yeah,
up.
we definitely have a lot of activity coming up. One that I'm very excited about is
At the milestone.
the Milestone. The Milestone is
October.
October 13th with Blue Hope and Hey Revolver.
Yeah.
And then on the 24th of October is a 16-band festival, which is called Eastway Holiday.
Nice.
Please go to that. That's going to be so fun at the
It'll be
new
at Tommy's.
Tommy's Pub.
Yeah,
That
Tommy's.
sounds fun.
Which is
To be inside and outside bands kind of
fantastic.
alternating.
Yes.
so many good bands are going to be there. I'm going to list some of them because we've made very good friends. And I was
First and foremost, the Mercury Dimes will be there.
yes, good.
Yeah.
They were the one that Paul forgot. So we'll say them first. The Mercury Dimes.
He didn't forget them.
The
He
one that
remembered,
Paul
like,
forgot, they're going to be there too.
Yeah.
that is
a great
side
band.
It's a
project.
great
I know.
band
I like
name.
it already.
Copyright
We'll
that.
make a band called that. And this is how it was formed. But Phase God is going to be there, a rapper. Amigo, Anchor Detail, they're definitely cool guys. The Hold Fire, Storm Watchers, the Donner Deads are so cool.
Statesville.
Uncle Buck is a great band. My Blue Hope, Whale Boat, I don't know them. Duckbeak, I like that name. Hey Richard is playing.
No affiliation.
Ember City, Betty White Bronco, Wilma. Those guys are good friends to us, and I like them.
Yeah.
They're a very heavy band.
These
They're,
all
they're
bands-
another band that's like not of their time. You know,
Yeah.
like they're sounding like early Soundgarden and like
Oh.
Hey,
I think they sound like Van Halen.
check out Wilma.
man, Soundgarden and Van Halen is the meeting ground.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So if any of you guys are watching and just heard your shout out, reach out to us so we can get you on the show.
That's right.
that's
And
it.
bring us T-shirts. We
Yes.
like
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Yes. Yeah, I will say that. I'm on a mission this season since we're doing video, I want to wear a different local band shirt on every episode, and Kody does too.
Yes.
So call us up to come be on the show and bring us your T-shirts. Don't forget about our man Josh, who is producing the show behind the scenes.
He also wears T-shirts only sometimes, but if you're a band, bring him one because just in case he wants to wear a shirt that day.
At the very least, we can watch him tear it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Will
Like
be
Hulk
will there
Hogan.
be shirt sizes in the comments?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I'm a
Look
large
at me,
man.
you know what this is. This is
Yeah,
a double
man.
X for sure.
Josh and I are largest, so large and in charge.
Large click, woot woot.
Yeah, man.
I will say this: if you're enjoying these guys, check them out on Bandcamp or wherever you stream music. But
Spotify.
Spotify, I encourage.
Spotify, Bandcamp.
I like Bandcamp.
I-
is,
Yeah, plug away.
is a cooler way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Bandcamp
to
is a
encourage
cooler way.
Bandcamp because artists get to keep more of their money.
Yeah.
That's I think the coolest thing about it. I do wish they'd fix their interface where you could like shuffle your library and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you can download their stuff and
And also pay for it. Support the band. You know, maybe do that.
That would
Maybe-
be nice.
Yeah.
I will say the one other thing to point out is we work sometimes with a great artist called the Emotron out of Atlanta, and he was in town a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you
Actually,
guys,
he just played again very
and
recently.
it was
He's on a small tour
great
right
show.
now.
He's a performance artist and musician, and each set has been different. But what he has asked us to do in the past was to be on a cover compilation that he was assembling of his friends, and the first one he did was from the Philly hardcore band Paint It Black.
Wow.
So we and about 12 other bands did covers, not straight hardcore covers, mostly electronic versions, but we did I'd say ours sounded more kind of like the Stooges. We slowed it down.
Slowed down version of the song is only
But he asked us to do another one, which was the DGC
Rarities,
Rarities.
Volume
Speaking
1.
of grunge of the 90s, and I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about, but it was a lot of, the band's Teenage Fan Club and Dinosaur Jr. probably, and bands like that.
yeah.
But he asked us to do a Counting Crows song, and we said, that sounds shitty, but okay. So we're doing that, and it's going to be awesome.
Which one you doing?
It's called... it's
Einstein
such a
on the Beach.
Einstein
I know
on the
that one,
Beach.
yeah.
And I like the hook, and I hate the verse so much. So we're playing that hook, and we're playing the verse is different. So
When
it's
you've got
gonna rock.
kids,
So
you-
at the end of October, that's going to be available on the Emotron's Bandcamp, and check it out.
Well, you've got kids that have seen Shrek, so
Yeah.
my daughter, we'll put on YouTube a lot in the house, and just let videos played. Sometimes it's 90s, sometimes it's metal, sometimes whatever. But when we're doing 90s stuff, Counting Crows will pop up from time to time, and my daughter, who's 10, will be like, "Hey, that's from Shrek." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
but
That's
it's
so
not.
depressing, Daddy.
I love movies though when they give you a new perspective on a song.
Oh,
Kinda
for
lets you
sure.
hear something a different way.
For sure. What were some of the best soundtracks of the 90s? Because 90s did have some pretty awesome soundtracks.
Well, definitely singles, and definitely.
Okay,
The
you
Crow.
took mine. Yeah, you took mine.
I mean, there's almost no. It's almost not fair. We're
Yeah.
just putting those out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Both of those soundtracks were the best soundtracks of the 90s.
Yeah, the single soundtrack. Holy crap! It made that reasonable movie last way longer. I mean, I liked that movie good enough, but mostly because Alice in Chains was in it and stuff.
Eddie Vedder was in it.
The most recent one I listened to was Vision Quest, so I don't know.
Oh,
I think
good
that,
one.
Had Red
That's
Rider
really
and
good. Mhm.
Madonna and
Lots of good
Cody, you
stuff.
got a favorite soundtrack?
Oh man. Yeah, that's a toughie, man. I'm
Fight
gonna
Club's
say
a good
I'm gonna
soundtrack.
say the Shrek soundtrack.
Shrek.
Fever,
Yeah.
night fever.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it up to the Shrek soundtrack for
Oh.
my pick.
How could we forget Dazed and Confused?
Oh, of
Holy
course.
Oh,
crap,
yeah,
what a
that's
great
a good
soundtrack.
one, man.
what about High Fidelity?
Yeah.
Does that have a good
High
soundtrack?
Fidelity
man,
was good
yeah.
too. Yes. We're talking 90s and Cody's so lost.
Dude, I was born in '93, so I can't really. I'm out of my element.
Oh,
I'm like Donnie on the Big Lebowski. I'm out of my element,
Big
Donnie.
Lebowski soundtrack.
Oh, dude, I
Oh.
do love that soundtrack.
There you go.
Favorite movie, and that one was a '90s movie. So, yeah, Big Lebowski soundtrack.
There you go.
Now
There
I'm
you
up
go.
to speed. But let's
got you out of that.
let's give it up for Sunday Boxing. Tell our audience where else they can find you guys to listen to your soundtrack. You guys are on Bandcamp, of course, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, plug away.
All of those are correct. Sunday Boxing Band is the.
Well,
is
talk
the
about the
Facebook.
name Sunday Boxing real quick.
Oh,
Yeah,
tell me-
where
yeah.
did that come from?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be a big Mike Tyson fan or something.
No,
No,
these
it-
guys watch too much television.
It came
that's
from
what
TV.
is.
It was my first idea for the band was Eagle-Eyed Tiger, which was a joke from the show Parks and Recreation. And
I'm
I
more
really
of an
liked
office
that
guy,
band.
man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not UK. U.S. office.
US
U.S.
office.
office only.
Clarify.
So Eagle-Eyed Tiger
That's what she
was
said.
I was leaning on that pretty hard, but then Eagles of Death Metal were coming to town, and in my head I was like, nah, we're gonna probably play with them in a year, so let's have a different band. That show never did come about. But Paul said from a different episode of Parks and Recreation, Sunday Boxing, which was one of the paintings in the
murals.
in the hall, which was when
yeah.
which was when the young mother from the church had a fist fight, like with the preacher.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. Yes.
So yes, it was just a joke. Paul and I like TV, and we have an aggressive band, but we're not aggressive people.
cool.
So that's mostly what we come from is nice stuff. And Sunday Boxing, it was nice and nondescript,
The music's great, man. It's
Yeah.
very jammy. You know, one of the things I like most about your music is there's like these long stretches of just music in your songs where there's not words. There's a handful of them that are like that.
Yeah.
I was surprised you didn't play Your Ghost. That was my favorite.
Yeah, we
Your
didn't play it.
We didn't play it when?
The song that we
Oh,
featured
that
for
was-
you.
oh,
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. So I should have clarified. I'm
Yeah.
surprised you didn't feature that on the
Oh.
show. But there you go, people. Go listen to Your
Your
Ghost.
Listen to Your Ghost right
Do
now.
it.
Yeah, we like that song.
Yeah,
We-
it's
a
we
great
enjoyed
song.
playing it. Thank you for that. Yeah, you know, we just
It'd be great.
want to make aggressive music for nice people.
That's right up our
You
alley.
just said it
man.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you really
Wow.
did.
Aggressive.
I was gonna ask you guys if you wanted to leave us with anything, but I think that was.
I think you just did.
I think you just did, man.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sunday Boxing. Thank
Give it
you
up.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the first stream, y'all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us.
It's
Absolutely.
awesome.
That's a wrap, bitches.